Depending on which fruit you got and whether or not you could actually make it, you probably either like or dislike the recent rumbling event. However, other people may also disagree with it for their own reasons, and some of these include that it will cause values of fruits to drop, or perhaps that the rumbling event wasn't necessary overall. Personally, I enjoyed the event for what it was, a fruit rain with extra steps. All that being said, this video isn't going to be a discussion on the rumbling event itself or its consequences for the GPO trading economy. I'll be discussing these topics in later videos. No, this video will be something different. Looking to the future, I'll be theorizing what the rumbling could mean for the future of GPO, and specifically its potential role as an initial test or precursor to world bosses. Now, many of you may be wondering, what does the rumbling event have to do with world bosses? Well, first off, the rumbling event itself is a world boss to some extent. However, in this context, when I use the word world boss, I mean something different. Anyway, to answer that question, the rumbling could have been a test to see what the game can handle or how many players would turn out at a specific time. In fact, even Benir himself made this connection over on the official GPO Discord server. He said, "Honestly, if you just think about it, this is just a tiny milestone that will contribute to the creation of boss raids." From this, we can pretty clearly see that the rumbling is in fact a precursor to something bigger that will be coming in the future. I mean, perhaps not in terms of actual size, because that huge For You model was ginormous, but in terms of significance and complexity and its role in the GPO, I guess, game and experience for players. Now that I've established that, I'll spend the remainder of the video discussing some potential ideas for what these bosses could be and what the drops could be, and a whole another host of ideas that I want to talk about. The first one that comes to mind is sure to be a familiar name to most people watching this, and the character I'm referring to is none other than the greatest swordsman in all of One Piece, Dracula Mihawk. I've always wondered when this character would finally make his entrance into the world of GPO. His sword, Yoru, was first showcased months ago, so it was always strange to me that he was never added into the game and hasn't been added since. In my opinion, a world boss would provide the perfect format for his addition. Obviously, this would have to be a recurring event, otherwise people would miss out on the chance of finding this key character or getting its drops. However, its rarity would definitely make the Yoru sword drop a lot more valuable, which makes sense because I can't imagine a Yoru, the sword, being something that everyone has, at least not initially. I imagine, similar to the rumbling event, the boss would also drop fruits. However, Mihawk is just the start of a long list of potential boss raid characters. Characters and monsters that would fit within this role are in no short supply within the story of One Piece. Take Blackbeard for example. His ability to use two of the most destructive fruits in the series would make him an incredible world boss. If more island-specific world bosses spawned, there are plenty more obvious additions. Perhaps a Marine Admiral Sengoku world boss could spawn at Marineford with his signature Buddha mythical Zoan, or a giant snake at Skypiea. The list is honestly huge, and the devs could really take inspiration from any one of these characters. But hey, why stop at characters? A Sea Beast or a Busticle world event could also be equally as fun and challenging. I'm sure one of the biggest critiques of this would be that it would be taking away from the main game content. And yes, I understand where these people are coming from. Hell, I was one of the most vocal people about stopping event updates before I went on my hiatus, and I know as much as the next player that the last thing GPO needs is more temporary non-One Piece content. However, I think it's a false equivalence to compare world bosses and world events to regular event updates. Who said these world bosses would be a one-time thing only? Hell, if you're going to add Mihawk, he kinda has to make a monthly or even weekly return. Not to mention his Yoru and other drops would surely long outlive him. Furthermore, let's not forget, we're talking about One Piece characters here. I take Mihawk as a weekly world boss with insane stats and a fun boss fight over a regular Mihawk boss, underwhelming. You can just spam kill him, which will take after a few updates will fall into irrelevance. No one ever goes back to fight old bosses like Arlong and Enel. No one goes back in time unless they need or they absolutely have to go back for a drop. But I'm telling you, people will keep coming back for these world bosses. They're a fun event, and as long as there's fruits, players will be kept in the loop and they'll want to keep coming back. Like I said, especially if they drop fruit or limited items. Now, I'm sure some of you are worried about all these fruits suddenly flooding the market. Either you really shouldn't be. First things first, the value of these fruits has been steadily dropping since the addition of dungeons, and it does not seem to be slowing down. Removing events won't really prevent this inflation from happening. Sure, it would reduce it, but I reckon the reduction would be small at best. Besides, let's not forget who is getting all these fruits. It really takes 4 to 5 max level players to beat the rumbling within time limit. At least this is the easiest, most common way. Therefore, these fruit drops will inevitably be concentrated in the hands of max level players. And isn't this a good thing? Why shouldn't max level players who spend hours grinding be given a good chance to obtain the fruit that they want to use? Sure, we shouldn't give these fruits to noobs en masse, but why prevent long-time players from obtaining fruits in a way that is fun and efficient? In the end of the day, I would put player enjoyment and satisfaction over gatekeeping how rare fruits are, which, may I add, is a fruitless endeavor, no pun intended, because inflation has snowballed so much that these fruits have been dropping in value anyway. Anyway, that being said, I can sympathize with those who think the other way, and as always, I'm always eager to hear what you guys have to say on this topic. Make sure to leave your opinion in the comment section below, and if you want to support my channel, then please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. I appreciate your support, and I know that together we can build a better future for Grand Peace Online. That's all for today. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.